Hi, welcome to Ladies of Another View on Back. I have with me today Kendi and Mary.
Hello.
And we have a tough show today, but a very important one. And we're going to have two ladies I'm going to introduce in just a minute, Vivian, Zayas. And also then later in the show, we're going to have Mary, Beth, Bonacci. Both lost their mothers in nursing homes during COVID in ways that should not have happened. No, I'm not having them on the show just to say, wow, let's look at this dramatic story. I'm having them on because they're two strong women who are not going to let their mothers die in vain, that are making a difference in the world and want to make sure this doesn't happen again. Let's welcome onto the show Vivian Zayas. And she...
Hi, Vivian.
Hello, Vivian.
Hi, thanks for coming
Nice
on
to meet
today.
you.
Thank you.
And she's also the founder of Voices for Seniors, right?
Correct.
And why don't you first of all tell us your story, and you're coming to us from New York, land of Governor Cuomo.
Well, an honor to be here. My sister and I started Voices for Seniors when our mother died abruptly on April 1st. I always say that April Fool's Day became I was the fool. I trusted a nursing home system thinking that my mother would be safe after only receiving a few weeks of physical therapy. She had knee surgery. We convinced her that in today's technology, she'd be back in her kitchen in no time. However, we just didn't know the perfect storm that was brewing. And as it came here on our shores in New York, she basically got caught in a shutdown on March 11th. So yesterday, 1 year ago today, was the last time I saw my mother here on this earth. And it's been a journey, a battle to try to get accountability, not just for her, but the over 15,300 seniors plus that died in the nursing home system or in long-term care facilities. And it's been a challenge. I know that God has given me the strength to go forward, because I tell you that when I heard on the phone that my mother had passed away, I didn't even know how I was going to take my next breath, much less start a movement. So I really owe it all to him. And I just want people to value seniors, like they're meaningful people to society and not just discarded people of our country.
And that's why we're doing this show. And just to let you know, Vivian, this is not our first show. We had somebody come on right after she buried her father. She wasn't able to visit him. And then he died of COVID. Even though she wasn't able to even go in and visit him, he got it anyways. And we just had somebody on 2 days ago, one of our representatives, Senator Kristen Bowers.
Roars.
And she helped sponsor a bill that is making, if there's any emergencies again, that seniors will always be allowed to have at least one caregiver come into the home, so they won't be by themselves. And she wants to reach out on a national level, because there's federal policies, in addition to the state policies, that oftentimes handcuff the local nursing homes and assisted care facilities, so that they have policies that prevent seniors from seeing their family. And like you said, they built our families, they built our communities, and now they're getting forgotten in nursing homes. So thank you for your amazing organization, Voices for Seniors. Can you tell us a little bit more about your mother? First, let's look at some pictures. I want to include, so we can kind of get a feel for what your mother was like.
I'm trying not to tear up.
Yeah, she's
I'm
beautiful.
sorry, yeah. And she was
Wow.
16 then, and you, oh no, 15? It was a 15-year-old birthday party?
Yeah.
Just beautiful. And there she was. Mom.
Oh.
And is that you, Vivian?
Yes, it is.
Were you the baby?
I think I had that same TV.
Yes, me too. And was this high school or college graduation?
College graduation.
Wow.
And I love these pictures because we can all relate. We've got those pictures too with our moms.
Yeah.
And
so other than, she just had the knee surgery. Other than that, did she have any pre-existing health conditions? Was she diabetic? Did she have what was her health like going into the nursing home for physical therapy?
My mother had a really aggressive rheumatoid arthritis. It was really giving her a hard time in her joints. The knee surgery was overdue. She's never had a surgery before. So we took a year or two of convincing that she really had no choice. When we got the knee surgery, they were amazed at the job, that the flexibility in her knee, but she was still complaining of pain, and we just couldn't figure out why she was not just up and out and bouncing back from her surgery. We find out that she had a spinal stenosis, which is actually, I guess, a byproduct of the arthritis. So when we tried to give her time to recuperate, the doctor said, give her 6 months. She just had surgery. We need to give her a little bit of time before we consider something else. And that's when the hospital said, look, she would benefit from a little physical therapy at the facility. Sometimes when elderly are home with their children for a couple of months after surgery, they get lazy and they don't want to do the exercises. Mm-hmm. So we thought it was a good idea that she get some physical therapy because it was only 3 weeks. That was really like the hinge point. We agreed because it was 3 weeks, and we had our eyes. I would visit my mother every day, bring her fresh clothing and snacks and food. And I just never thought that a facility could be closed and that she would be basically away from us. So I attribute her death not just to the pandemic, but I attribute to the fact that my eyes were not on her, because as soon as I saw anything wrong with her, my sister and I are akin to a Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. We fought for her all the time. So we just never foresaw, and I say that she slipped out of my fingers because I was really attentive to her. So this is something should never happen. And we're fighting here in New York. And unfortunately, a lot of the scandals that have plagued Cuomo are now overshadowing the death of over 15,000 people. So we're going to continue to fight to keep that in the narrative and that they don't become a footnote in the story.
Wow.
Yeah, because you have 2 scandals now behind Cuomo. The nursing home scandal, and now there's all these women coming forward saying there was some kind of sexual abuse. So are you fighting the whole nursing home scandal? Is that something you're trying to push, that you feel that he should have to resign just on that alone?
Well, we wanted answers and accountability for the past year. What he did in putting COVID positive patients in the nursing home and is criminal, because from the entire beginning of the pandemic, what he kept saying, and we knew all along, that the most vulnerable were the elderly and those with developmental disabilities. And he mandated COVID positive patients in these 2 facilities. And we just found out recently that he never rescinded the order of putting COVID positive patients inside the developmental disabled homes. So how do you do that? How do you put the frail in with a contagion? So we just want answers. We mean no ill will to him. He's a human like us. We make mistakes, but he's never owned up to it. And he just continues to blame families and everyone else. So we just want answers, and we're going to continue pursuing him until the end, whatever the end looks like.
Wow. Did you know when your mom was in there that they were putting COVID patients there, or is that something that you learned about later?
We learned about it later. We had a neighbor who worked at the facility, and only after my mother's death did we find out. And I'm like, so you locked me out in the front door and put COVID positive patients on the outdoor, and no one said a word. And
so they knew, but you didn't. Hold that thought, because I want to learn more about exactly what happened and when you found out about it when we come back right after this.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota. Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and we are here with Vivian Zayas, who is the founder of Voices for Seniors. And she founded the organization because her own mother died in a New York nursing home last year because they put COVID patients from the hospital in there. Can you tell us how did that happen and why shouldn't have it happened?
Well, I'm co-founder. My sister and I have been fighting for accountability for my mother. My mother, while she was receiving physical therapy, I believe became in contact with someone, or someone sneezed on her, or someone in the facility had it. Not sure how. And someone saw her on March 25th and said that there was a paper in her chart, which now we're reading after the fact, said that there was a droplet precaution. So someone must have sneezed on her. And I'm just finding it interesting that they put an entry in her chart that day, but didn't ever call us to tell us, listen, your mother may have been exposed. Yet they stayed quiet, and they were going to discharge her 3 or 4 days later without saying anything. My mother was hoarse on the last day that I spoke to her on March 27th. I called her to say, Mom, I just got a call, you're going home on Monday. And I noticed she was hoarse, and I said, Mom, you can't get sick now. We've been fighting for over a week to get you out of here. And I just told her, well, go to sleep, get some rest, eat, make sure you build up your strength because you're going home. But Saturday when I called her, I could not make out what she was saying. I just panicked. I did not have the clear thought to say, Mom, try to articulate what you're saying. She couldn't speak. And yet when I spoke to the nurse, they reassured me that her blood level, that her oxygen level was fine, that her vitals were fine. I'm like, so why does she sound like that? I chucked it to to laryngitis, thinking that it was just a bad cold since I heard her hoarse the day before. And absent the fact that they never came across and said, listen, she may have been exposed to COVID. So I just figured Monday morning we'll take her to her family doctor and find out what's going on. She just never made it to Monday. She passed away. She was in respiratory distress by Monday. On the day she was supposed to go home, they had no extra technician to find out if she had pneumonia. And after hours of waiting, I believe that her breath became very shallow, and they took her to the hospital. And she died 2 days later on April 1st.
Wow. Did they communicate with you at all with transporting her out of the facility, moving her to the hospital? How did that play out?
Well, since that Monday, March 30th, she was supposed to be home. In the morning, we called to find out, okay, do I got to pick her up? Is there like an ambulette that's going to take her home? We didn't know the logistics. But the fact that when we called her to say, hey, Mom, are you ready to go home? And she didn't answer the phone. That's when all our alarm bells started ringing. Like, what's going on? My mother's been wanting to go home for 3 weeks now. And now the day that she's going to go home, we can't reach her Sunday and we can't reach her the day of. And all they kept telling me was like, well, your mother's having trouble breathing. And we're like, but you're going to let her go home. And they basically offered an oxygen tank. We refused. We wanted to get down to the bottom of it, and they never said COVID. A nurse basically said, really whispering on the phone when we were trying to figure out what was going on with her, she said, I think she's been exposed to a respiratory issue. Still not using the word COVID. And that's when we really became worried. We never thought she would die. We thought she would pull through. She was a strong lady. And to our surprise, you know, we were constantly calling the hospital for updates. She was showing improvements. But by 6 o'clock on April 1st, the doctor says, look, her kidneys are failing. We're going to have to do dialysis. She was never a diabetic. And when we gave the authorization for the treatment, basically they called 45 minutes later saying she passed away. My world has been forever changed since that day.
Wow. I honestly, I cannot even imagine the shock that you experienced. And now just to see what you're doing because of that, I'd love to hear, I mean, you're on a mission now. So what specifically are you doing with the work because this has completely changed your life?
Well, I didn't know what activism was, so I've had to learn really quickly. We were holding rallies almost all of last year. And after the rallies, we were calling legislators. And then we waited a little bit for after the election to see what was going to happen and who was going to be in position to help us. In December, we set out Operation Christmas Senior. And instead of the Christmas gifts that I would normally give my mom and a lot of the loved ones in our group, we gave this gifts to other seniors who we targeted nursing homes for specifically seniors that had no family or had basically were struggling with the shutdown. So instead of 100 gifts, which was our goal, we ended up distributing 263 gifts, which is more than double.
That's awesome.
And that comforted us during Christmas, our first Christmas without our parents and our grandparents and our husbands and wives. And in January, once everyone was seated, we went back to work. We were a little defeated. We thought, you know, Cuomo's not going to be held accountable. This is going to be a really uphill climb. And in February, things just started going crazy. We had a crazy February, and in March is obviously has a lot of surprises too. But I noticed that we're ping-ponging two events: the sexual scandals and then the nursing home. And I think that there's still a lot more information that we need to know so that we can learn from it. We are talking with legislators almost every week. We have appointments and conference calls with legislators, and we want the investigation. And we would like nursing home reform so that this doesn't happen again. And that's how we honor our parents, and that's what justice and victory looks for us.
Yeah. Wow.
Do you think that part of it was because President Trump had brought those ships into the area and he had other areas available? Do you think it was just kind of a head-to-head match against the two, that I'm not going to use your resources because I don't like you? Do you think that had anything to do with it?
It was an election year, and I know that our seniors became political pawns because they did not want to give Trump a victory. And in essence, basically, they sacrificed the seniors. And, you know, I was reading a report yesterday in the Federalist that was saying that the nursing home lobby, the hospital lobby, basically pushed the governor to push this mandate so that they basically would not tie in funds. You know, they lose money on these, especially in these Medicare patients. When they're in the hospital too long, they lose money. So because of that, they have to get them out as quickly as possible. And that's why, even though they were recovering with COVID, they were pushed to nursing homes and basically infected everyone else. So it's the money issue. It's a political issue. In the beginning, we were like, this is not about politics. It's not about politics. And unfortunately, I discovered it is all about politics. So, you know, we've had to get right in the middle of the muck of it in order to try to make change.
Yeah, that's just so sad. You know, I'm curious to know your feelings towards the governor of your state, towards the long-term care facility. Do you have a lot of anger towards them? I mean, how are you processing this with them?
Initially, I was very angry because I'm thinking, how could they? I mean, they saw me walk with my children to see my mom every single day. I made friends with the nurses. They knew me by name. I'm like, how could none of them tell me that my mother was in any danger? And I asked that Sunday before my mom was going to be discharged. I spoke to a nurse when I couldn't get a hold of my mom. And I said, if my mother's in any danger, would you tell me? And they were like, sure. But they didn't say a word. And in reference to our governor, you know, he's a human, just like me. I've made mistakes, so has he. The difference is he doesn't own up to it. He's blamed everyone. We've been called a death cult. We've been accused of wanting just someone to blame. And when you lose a loved one, all you want is answers. And when they die under cloudy, you know, weird circumstances, even more so. So we want accountability. We don't harbor hate in my heart. At least I know a lot of people in my group may hate him, but I don't hate him as a Christian. And I just don't want to live with that thorn in my heart. I want to love my mom. I want to honor her. And I live to honor her. I lived to honor her when she was alive. I'm going to do so even though she's passed. And I think if I can save another senior, that would make us totally joyful.
Thank you so much for coming on our show today. And if anybody wants to know more, they can look at voicesforseniors.com and learn more and join the fight. Thank you so much, Vivian.
Thank you, Vivian.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Take care.
Have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
We'll be back.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
Beck Communications is now hiring independent sales agents around the state. We're looking for highly motivated individuals to take advantage of this opportunity, selling advertising for our news and sports programming on Beck TV and sponsorships for the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team. Independent sales agents will make 50% commission on their completed sales for all products. Beck TV is the leader in broadcasting local sports, owner of the Bismarck Bucks indoor football team, and originator of newly launched news opinion programming. Submit your application now at careers@bechtel.coop. This is an exciting opportunity you can't pass up. 50% commission for independent sales agents now hiring at Beck Communications.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. When you buy one set of sheets, you'll get another set absolutely free.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View. I'm back, and we have with us now, that'll be joining us, is Mary Beth Bonacci. She also lost her mother during COVID in a nursing home in a way that should not have happened. But she also, like Vivian, is a very strong woman, wants to go public and speak out so this does not happen again to anybody else. Welcome to the show, Mary Beth.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, Mary Beth.
Hello, Mary
Hi.
Beth.
Hi, ladies.
Hi. And Mary Beth is joining us from Denver, Colorado. getting ready for the snow, right?
Yes.
And a birthday on Sunday to celebrate.
Yeah, nice snowbound birthday.
Yes.
So what they're saying, I had heard up to 80 inches of snow.
Oh
Is
my
that
gosh.
accurate?
I don't know. I've heard everything from, I haven't heard 80. I've heard everything from 12 to I think 50 something.
Wow.
50 only 50 something.
That
Only 50
is
something, yes.
crazy.
Because I have a sister in Wyoming and she's expecting 2 to 3 feet.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the neighborhood. But yeah,
Okay.
we're hoping for a nice 12.
Oh.
And we're praying for moisture over here in Bismarck, so it does make
you can have some of ours.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, if only we could trade that way.
Yeah.
So you're here for a very serious reason, and I appreciate so much your willingness to tell the story because I came across your blog. You're an author, a speaker. Your book is Real Love, and it's been translated in 6 different languages. Am I correct?
9, I think, was what I last heard.
9.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And so you are used to reaching other people, but now you have a new story to tell.
Very
it's the story
different.
of your mother. And you also are a real estate agent, and I noticed you've won all these awards. And as I was reading about you, I thought, it figures whenever you do something, you do your best. And that's what you were trying to do with your mother, right?
Yes.
Tell us what happened.
I'm going to tear up a little bit once
I'm
I get through
sorry.
that. No, it's okay. Once I get through it, I'm better. Yeah, she had dementia, and she was living with my dad in an independent living facility. So, you know, it was a senior apartment, and they served their meals and gave him a little help, but not enough. I mean, she was starting to wander because she didn't recognize home. So, you know, my dad would turn around and she'd be gone. And I mean, she could barely walk, but she could move pretty quick when she wanted to get out. And my dad's 90. He's going to be 98 next week. He was, you know, he was in a panic. He was trying to find her. Fortunately, she always managed to leave when there was somebody at the front desk who could catch her. But he was terrified that some night he wouldn't be there. So, you know, my family, we agonized. And what do we do? And you never want to have to put your mother in a facility. But we didn't know what else to do because we were afraid she wasn't safe because she wandered. Okay. So we researched, and we found a facility, and we found one, and then we chickened out because we felt like maybe they were pressuring us. I mean, you know, this is such precious cargo.
Right.
And so we worked with a placement agent, and she said, I love this place. It's the best in town. You know, it was more expensive than the others, but we figured it's worth it if mom is safe. And so we moved her in on June 30th of last year, right in the middle of COVID. Couldn't visit her or anything. You know, we could only visit at the window or outside. And then, so, you know, things went on, and I got a phone call 2 weeks ago today that they had found her out in the backyard and she froze to death.
Oh my
gosh. Goodness.
Oh,
here's
so
pictures.
Sorry to hear that.
You can just see, look at this beautiful lady.
Just the joy.
Yeah.
You can see just the joy and life in her eyes.
She was something. She was really something. I'm sorry.
No, Mary
Yeah,
Beth,
we
it's so
understand.
fresh. I
it's
am
only been
so
2 weeks.
sorry. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh.
And so what did they say? What was their reasoning? I'm sure they had an excuse.
She went out the back door.
Was this a dementia facility though?
This was a memory care facility.
Yes.
Wow.
And they're supposed to be locked
Secured.
in.
Secured.
Yeah.
And what they told us that day is that the fire department requires that the doors to the backyard be unlocked so that they don't get locked in if there's in a fire. They don't all get trapped inside, which I understood. What I didn't understand is why, and I've discovered there is, at least in Colorado, I can find no state law, why those doors aren't monitored, why there's no alarm, why there's no, there's technology now called Wander Guard where they can wear a little bracelet or a necklace or something. And with all the technology we have today, that there was zero monitoring of those doors was what really upset me because, she scooted out in her wheelchair. And I mean, she had told a caregiver that the autopsy states that she told a caregiver at around 10 p.m. that she had to leave because she had to catch a bus, which was her big thing always. She always thought she was catching a bus. So she had announced that she was planning to leave. And yet,
my goodness.
She slipped right out that door, and so the last time she was seen alive, I guess, was around that 10 p.m. and they found her at 9 a.m.
And so there had been a bed check that was somehow missed, right?
Yes.
So she was outside for a long time.
There was supposed to be a bed check, and we have the logs, and the bed check was not done.
Wow. I can only imagine right now you've got to be feeling a lot of anger towards those that were supposed to be taking care of your mother. Oh, wow. You're right in the midst of that.
And
yeah, I kind of have, yeah.
I'm stating the obvious. I'm really good at that.
Yeah, no, I know, no.
But I can't imagine.
And so how is the facility now? I mean, were they understaffed? I mean, I'm sure they have an excuse. What are they telling you where they went wrong? I mean, we know where they went wrong. With the door, it should be secured.
Yeah.
There should be an alarm. There should be, but what was their excuse?
They
Like,
really
what were they
are.
doing?
I mean, we have not had a lot of communication with them since. So yeah, no, there hasn't been a lot of dialogue or a lot. I mean, this was not like one person who made a mistake. This was a systemic problem, obviously.
One of the things when I read your article about this, and you're a syndicated columnist, so I don't know how many, at least 25 or more newspapers maybe have picked it up.
Yeah, it's not that many pick it up initially, but it's gone pretty viral.
Yeah.
And one of the points that you made that I think is important for everybody to consider is that when you don't have family coming in there, when you're shutting down, the staff, being human beings, tend to start to slack off.
And that's what I heard. I called the placement person who placed Mom there, and I don't blame the placement people at all. They had no way of knowing this kind of thing could happen, but I just thought they should know. And she was devastated. She said she felt like throwing up. But as we conversed, she said that she feels like this is happening more and more just because the family can't get in. And you know, I've never had the experience of being family and going in. I mean, I was on it on the phone as much as I could, and whenever I heard a concern, I called the house manager, and so I tried to be eyes and ears, but there's only so much you can ascertain in a phone conversation with a dementia patient.
Right.
So you know, I never knew, you know, if we'd been able to go in, I would have been stopping by, you know, every day, every couple days, and I think in that environment, people are a little more on their toes, just in general.
So has the facility, I know you said that there hasn't been communication, but have they owned what happened? I mean, has there been any acknowledgement on their part?
From what I am told, they're devastated and traumatized, and yeah, from what I've heard, and I was actually pretty worried about the caregivers right after it happened, because I think finding her was a very traumatic event, and I was a little worried somebody might hurt themselves or something. So I've been praying for them. So yeah, they have not tried to make excuses. They've from everything we've seen and understand, they have definitely owned it, and they're definitely working hard to make sure it never happens again.
That's good. Wow.
And it's only been 2 weeks, but I know one of the reasons you agreed to come on the show is you want to make sure it doesn't happen again to other people, that you don't want other people to experience what you are going through right now. We're going to talk some more about this when we come back on Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Howdy folks, it's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at our salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a comb roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Respect, innovation, trust, and excellence. These core values can be seen in every building built by Straightway Construction. In the community for over 15 years, Straightway Construction has become the premier construction company for commercial projects. From dirt to design and framing to finish, Straightway Construction is your #1 choice. You won't have to look far to find a project that has that Straightway touch. Call them today or go online to straightwayconstruction.com and let them make your vision a reality.
Jeez, what a mess. Look at that. There's roof stuff everywhere. It's so embarrassing. Ruins the neighborhood. Come on, humans. Let's get this fixed.
Don't let your roof go to the dogs. Call America's Best Contractors for your free estimate.
Need a new woof?
After checking with the rest, go with the best. America's Best Contractors. 258-2412. Online at americasbestcontractorsincorporated.com.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back, and we are here visiting with Mary Beth Bonacci, and she lost her mother just 2 weeks ago in a memory care unit, and she put her mother there to be safe, and she wandered out at night and froze to death. And so Mary Beth is coming forward to talk about this, to help others not to experience the same thing, to try to prevent this. And the way I found out about this is I came across an article that she wrote, and I want to read the first paragraph, because I felt this really encapsulates what happened. We buried my mom this week. 7 months ago, I first drove her to her new memory care facility. My heart was breaking. She was so scared and vulnerable, but was trying so hard to be brave. My brother said it was like taking your kid to preschool for the first time and never going back to pick her up.
Oh my goodness.
So, and I know that I've known of Mary Beth. She's an author, she's a speaker, she's a real estate agent. When she does something, she does it well. And she talked about in her article how you looked for just the right place, and then this happened, that your mom wandered out, nobody was looking. What you said during the break when we were talking, that there are questions you would have asked had you known better.
Yes.
What do you say to other people? What should they be looking for?
The first set of questions for a memory care facility, for me, we just assumed, because they said it was a secured facility, that it was secure, that she couldn't get out. And I would have asked, how is it secured? I mean, the materials just said that the doors are secured, and said that they would have access to the backyard, but that access would be restricted during, dangerous situations, night, inclement weather. I had no idea that those doors were just unlocked 24/7, and that there's no law in Colorado that says those doors have to be monitored. They had no alarms, no nothing. I would ask, the first question I would ask is, how are those doors secured? Or how is your facility secured? Usually the doors that go out into the public are on a combination and a buzzer and all this stuff, but the doors that go to the courtyard, the laws aren't as strict on, because they want the people to have access to the courtyard, which on a lovely day makes absolute sense to me. But I would ask, how are the doors to the back, how are all the doors secured, and particularly how are the doors to the backyard secured? Is there an alarm? Is there a wander guard? Is there some kind of bracelet or necklace that they wear? Do they wear fall monitors? Even if they hadn't known my mom had gone outside, if she had been wearing a fall monitor, they would have known when she fell, because she fell. So that would be my first question. How exactly is the backyard secured? Other questions that I really I kind of took for granted are things like, who monitors the logs? Like there's a log that says you do the bed check. How often are the bed checks done at night? How is that logged, and who checks the logs? Is there any kind of outside supervision? Is there clinical supervision? Is there a nurse, an RN, somebody who is supervising on a regular basis what goes on in here? The manager, is the manager another hands-on caregiver, or is the manager just someone who sits in an office? How many hands-on caregivers are there during the day? What's the ratio of caregiver to resident during the day? What's the ratio at night? I would kind of want to know, how much are these caregivers being paid? I don't know if they'll give that information, but caregivers are notoriously underpaid, regardless of the elegance of the beauty of the building, the elegance of the facility. Better paid caregivers give better care.
Mm-hmm.
So these are just a few of the questions I would ask. How are the doors monitored? How is the facility monitored? How is the staff monitored? Is there clinical supervision? And, do you pay people enough to make them happy employees?
Yeah,
Those are good questions.
because when you think about it, you said she scooted out. She was in her wheelchair and she kind of scooted her way out. And those doors are heavy, and you have to push the bar, I assume, to go ahead and get through that door.
It was a
so
slider.
it's not like she was a slider. So, but it's not like she just slipped out. It would take someone with her capacity to take a little bit of time to get that wheelchair over the threshold and out
then
the
to
door.
turn around and close it again.
Yes.
Right.
So it was closed behind her then?
That's my understanding. I mean, I haven't heard anything to the contrary, and I would think it would have to be for them not to notice her missing for 13 hours.
Right, and the cold air. They didn't notice the cold air.
Yeah, because it was a very cold night. The low that night was 16 degrees.
Oh. Wow. And then you said that she must have gotten out of her chair and then fallen? Is that
This is my theory. We don't have the final health department report yet, but based on what the coroner told me, she was found lying face up, facing her wheelchair, which to me indicates that she was scooting along and she got to the edge of the sidewalk or whatever, and the terrain changed and she pitched forward.
Yeah.
And then in the process of trying to get out, she rolled over onto her back.
Wow.
Oh, devastating. Just devastating.
How is your dad doing?
He's okay, I mean, these greatest generation dudes are strong. He's sad. He's definitely sad, and he frequently says, he'll just out of nowhere, he'll just pop up and say, I really miss her. And I'll see him walk by. He's living with me now. I'll see him walk by a picture and just stop and look for a long time. I think it was kind of made easier by the separation beforehand, because we had moved her into the memory care facility, and so they didn't see each other at all from July 1st until I moved him in with me in early December.
Oh, how
and
sad.
After that, I could take him to visit her, but it had to be outside, and it was winter, so it was so cold, ironically. We never stayed long because I didn't want them to get that cold.
Right. Because you said he's 98, is that right?
He's going to be 98 in a couple weeks.
Oh, they're
Isn't that
adorable.
cute?
Oh my
There
gosh.
they are.
Mary Beth, I'm sorry. I'm curious to know, you've written an article. How else do you want to make a difference in long-term care facility, memory care facilimes?
I'm still trying to figure that out. I know I want to learn more about what the regs are and what the regs need to be. I'm interested in lobbying for regulations that these exterior doors be alarmed at night and in cold. I want to keep spreading the word about kind of the things to look for. I keep learning. I'm talking to people more about what changes they think need to happen, what questions they think. I'm collecting questions that need to be asked. So I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I know what happened with my speaking career, where I just started giving some talks at the local elementary school, and within a year I was flying all over the world speaking to everybody under the sun. So God has a way of picking these things up and giving them wings and sending them where he wants to send them. So right now I'm just trying to spread the word to anyone who'll listen.
Wow. Right. I think you need to reach out to your legislators and just get the laws changed. That's or maybe the city council, to go ahead and get the city codes changed so that there's something needs to be done. What was your mother's name, by the way?
Lavina Bonacci. But her nickname was Woody. She went by Woody.
Oh, sweet. Well, let's call it the Lavina Law or the Woody Law.
Yeah, Lavina's Law. It's the alliteration
awesome.
is perfect. Yep.
That would be perfect if you could get something going, but you're going to have to talk to your city council or your state legislators.
I've been talking to the local Alzheimer's Association, and they have the people to put me in touch with.
Because we do have a family friend that the exact same thing happened to about 10 years ago, and he was an elderly gentleman, and they found him the next day in a snowbank. And we're in North Dakota, which gets even colder.
Yeah.
It's very, very sad, and it does happen, and it happens too often is what happens.
Yes.
And there is no excuse for it. I mean, we know life is terminal. We understand that, but there are things, when you put someone in a facility to be protected from adverse harm, that's what you're paying for. That's what you're, you know, that's why you put them there. And then for something like this to happen, our friend actually, he's from North Dakota, but it happened in Iowa. But it's just devastating that something like that, there's no excuse for it. That door should be alarmed. There should be an alarm. At minimal, that door needs an alarm.
Yeah. And it's common for people with dementia to get up and wander, and that's why she was there. So it is hard to believe that they could have had a facility that weren't on top of this.
Well, we're going to stay on top of it for you,
we
too.
are.
We're going to keep spreading your word.
We have been covering this topic, and we're going to continue to do so. So thank you so much, Mary Beth. And
Absolutely.
if anybody wants to go to your website, it's reallove.net if you want to learn more about Mary Beth. Thank you for being here, and we'll keep you and our other guest, Vivian, in our prayers, because it seems that God does have a plan for you. You're not going to sit silently by. You care about helping others.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You take care of yourself and your dad.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we'll be right back with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
There's nothing more important than family. And at Prairie Rose Family Dentists, we get it. That's why we have more locations, more dentists, specialists, extended hours, pediatric clinics, and even emergency appointments, so you can always be seen. Book your appointment today at prairierosedentist.com. Prairie Rose Family Dentists. We are family.
Deciding how to promote your business can be hard. Visit the professionals at Dakota Promotions and Printing and let them help you through your struggle. Dakota Promotions provides promotional items and apparel, from corporate gifts to team shirts and everything in between. With quick turnaround times and friendly service, they are your best choice. And best yet, you're shopping local. Visit them online at dakotapromo.com or stop in their showroom at 320 West Main in Mandan. Dakota Promotions, delivering promotions just for you.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota.
Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county. Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Now is the best time to plan for your 2021 farm equipment needs. North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing is currently offering early order savings. Take advantage of big savings on North America's broadest tillage line, including the Super Coulter Samurai and the innovative VRT Renegade, as well as the best built, best backed land rollers in the industry. Talk to your Summers dealer today or go to summersmfg.com to learn more about early order savings available on all Summers equipment.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Back. And it's been a tough show, but an important one. And for the lighter side today, I thought it would be appropriate to turn to works of art and things of beauty that I had never heard of before. Have you ever heard of paper sculptures or a paper sculpture as an art form?
Well, I do have a friend from my high school, and she used to tear paper and make it into a print, kind of, sort of, just layered paper, and make it into landscapes and that type of stuff. So I do.
You need to let her know about this. I've never seen. Even if I watch the video and you're going to see the video, I don't know how he does it. Okay, his name is Calvin Nichols, and he creates this. I don't know if he just came up with it himself, but you got to see this. Take a look.
My name's Calvin Nichols, and I'm a paper sculpture artist. When I was first attracted to paper as a medium, it was just a shock, a surprise to me. It was a niche art style that wasn't widely practiced. I started to see how scoring and folding, I was seeing highlights and shadows. Whether I'm working on the edge of a feather or a larger piece, seeing that play of light it's always satisfying. I know in the past there have been shows where people stop and they say, wow, like I've never seen this before.
That's crazy.
Wow. Isn't it amazing?
Oh my gosh.
I still don't quite know how he does it. His website is Calvin Nichols, and he has 2 L's at the end of his name, calvinnichols.com. And I have a couple, I picked out a few pictures that I thought, oh my gosh, look at this.
Wow, that is so awesome.
It's all paper.
Very realistic, my goodness.
Can you imagine?
Okay, so one of the things that I noticed as we were watching the video, I mean, he's a very calm person. I mean, at least that's what I sensed.
Wouldn't you have to be?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking.
Just
I
the
mean,
patience.
yes,
look at
to
that.
do that, oh my gosh, that is incredible. It looks so realistic.
I know.
Wow.
Okay, so this guy is a little bit better than my friend from high school. I'm just going to throw that out there. She's very talented, mind you, but
wow. That's a whole different level.
That's a whole other level.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. If you go to his website, he has a lot of other artwork that he's already done, but he will do commissioned art.
Oh.
And I try to get the prices, and I think for a large piece, it's about $6,000.
And honestly, that's not
I would have
bad.
thought it would be way more than that.
I don't know where I would put it. It would really depend on the place, but for the right place.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. I don't have $6,000 right now for paper art, but I have a lot of paper. My husband would say, make your own art.
Oh.
But no, it was beautiful. It was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd have to have the right place for it, that's for sure.
Yeah,
or maybe it would
sure.
be an investment, because I would have to think that the price is just going to go up, especially after people find out about it on the show.
And just thinking how you preserve something like
dust
that.
it.
I mean, you
thought that
spend so
too.
much money, and you're like,
Yes.
how do you protect something like that? So I am in total awe over that. That's amazing.
I thought the same thing. Like, how would you frame it? Because it's 3-dimensional, but you don't want it to get covered in dust.
You'd have to put it under glass, or have a glass box made for it, or something like that, like a shadow box type thing.
Right, that's what I was
depending
thinking.
on how deep it is. But they almost look like they were 3-4 feet high, and so, then you'd really have like you put those footballs in a box, only
some kind of a case,
a special room specifically for that.
Isn't it amazing though? Like, if you or I were given a little assignment if we worked on it for the next 10 years, we couldn't make it look as beautiful as that. That just some people have these special gifts.
I am not artistic. I mean, when we were talking
egg
months
cartons.
ago, yes.
Yes.
I mean, my talent with art is I can dye eggs and use the egg cartons to hold them. Like, I can appreciate other people who can do that. It's not my gift at all.
Awesome. And just even the patience. I have trouble with sewing.
Yes.
Oh, see, and I love all that. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, master of absolutely none. But I do. I sewed.
Did you make jewelry?
I make jewelry, but I sewed a little quilt top for my baby dolls before kindergarten. I mean, yeah, I used to do that. But we only have like a minute left or so. I just want to give a shout out. It is my son Cole's birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday!
He is 19 years old, and
happy birthday.
He should have his driver's license back by Monday. I think he's coming.
He's gonna kill you, Mom.
Yeah. Why did you share that on air, Mary?
It was for speeding, and boys aren't too ashamed of that, right?
But anyway, I can't wait to see him next week. We're gonna celebrate.
That's awesome. You know, I just want to say something too about the memory care centers here, at least in Bismarck. You know, I worked in EMS, and so I've been in those a time or two, and they are very secure here. And so I think that as we listen to, especially the second story, I mean, it's important, and we need to be aware of where our parents are. But I know that they are secure facilities here.
Yes, my dad was in memory care in Mandan, and he was first in the regular section of it, and then he was in memory care and very well taken care of.
Right, so thanks for joining us today, and we'll be back again on Monday with Ladies of Another View on Beck.
Have a great weekend.
Yep, goodbye.